You think you can steal from me and get away with it? You're nothing but a thief! I know what you did.
Have you ever seen a moment of arrogance so extreme, so unbelievably out of touch, that you knew it would end in disaster? The story you're about to hear is one of those moments. It involves a billionaire sister, a black CEO, a glass of red wine, and a $2.4 billion deal that evaporated in seconds. While the names and companies in this story are illustrative, the lesson it teaches about power, respect, and consequences in our modern world is profoundly real. This is a corporate fable for our time. The wine dripped from her shoulder, a deep crimson stain spreading across the perfect white fabric of her suit. It was a public humiliation designed to put her in her place. But the black CEO, Amira Carter, didn't even flinch. As the billionaire's sister, Isabella Sterling, and her friends started to laugh, Amira just made a quiet 5-second phone call. She didn't yell, she didn't make a scene. She just spoke a few calm words. And in that instant, a $2.4 billion deal was killed, and a lesson in consequences was delivered before the wine had even hit the marble floor. The laughter died. The Sterling family's world was about to fall apart, and it all started with a single act of unbelievable arrogance. To really get the impact of that moment, you have to picture the world it happened in. This wasn't just any party, it was the Starlight Charity Gala, the peak of the social calendar. Held in a grand ballroom with crystal chandeliers the size of small cars, this was where the super rich and powerful came to play. Every handshake was a potential deal. Every conversation, a subtle dance for status. It was a world built on image, control, and the unspoken rule that some people are just more important than others. At the center of it all were the Sterlings. Sterling Global Holdings wasn't just a company, it was an old money empire that had dominated shipping and manufacturing for a century. The family name was on buildings, universities, and museums. They were powerful, untouchable, and used to a world that bent to their will. And then there was Isabella Sterling. While her brother ran the business, Isabella ran the family's social life. Draped in couture and entitlement, she used the Sterling name like a weapon. She was known for her casual cruelty, her cutting remarks disguised with a sweet smile, and an arrogance that came from a life with zero consequences. To Isabella, the world was her stage, and everyone else was just an extra. Into this world walked Amira Carter. Amira was everything the Sterlings were not. She was a self-made woman, the founder and CEO of a game-changing tech company, Innovate Forward. While Sterling Global was built on steel and tradition, Innovate Forward was built on code and vision. Amira had built her company from the ground up with a brilliant mind and an insane work ethic. She was known for her quiet confidence and preternatural calm. In an industry full of loud personalities, Amira's power was in her stillness. She was a rising star, and her presence in the Sterling's world was a sign of her success and a subtle threat to their old-school order. So why was Amira Carter at this gala? She wasn't there for the champagne. She was the architect of a massive $2.4 billion partnership between her company, Innovate Forward, and Sterling Global. It was a landmark deal, set to merge old-world industry with new-world tech. The plan was revolutionary: create the world's first fully autonomous, zero-emission global shipping network. Think self-driving cargo ships running on clean energy, all managed by a sophisticated AI. For the Sterlings, this deal was about future-proofing their dynasty. For Amira, it was a chance to take her sustainable technology global and make a real difference for the planet. The negotiations had been grueling, lasting for months. But there was one thing Amira refused to budge on. She insisted on including a very specific integrity and mutual respect clause. This wasn't your typical corporate jargon. Article 12, Section 4 was ironclad. It gave either party the right to terminate the deal immediately in the event of any public act of harassment, discrimination, or humiliation. The Sterling lawyers hated it, calling it weaponizable, but Amira stood firm. In a private meeting, she told the patriarch, Charles Sterling, "My company is built on respect. I will not enter a partnership where that value isn't contractually protected. This clause isn't a weapon, it's a foundation. Desperate for the deal, Charles reluctantly agreed. He signed the contract, never imagining that the biggest threat to his empire wasn't a market crash, but the unchecked arrogance of his own sister. Back at the gala, the mood was electric. The new partnership was the talk of the evening, and Amira Carter, in a stunning white suit, was the center of attention. But she could feel the chill from the old guard elite. One guest was overheard muttering, "Who invited her? She doesn't exactly fit." Isabella Sterling had been watching Amira all night, her smile tight with envy. She saw Amira not as a brilliant CEO, but as an intruder stealing her family's spotlight. Throughout the evening, Isabella made small, passive-aggressive jabs. When Amira was discussing AI with investors, Isabella interrupted, "It's all so dreadfully complicated, isn't it? Thank goodness my brother handles the real business." Amira just smiled and said, "Innovation is always complex, Isabella. That's what makes it valuable." The breaking point came later. Amira was talking to a journalist when Isabella approached, swirling a glass of red wine. "You must be so proud," she said, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "It's not every day someone like you gets a seat at a table like this." The insult was thick and poisonous. Amira's eyes were steady. She said, "Some of us don't wait for a seat, Isabella. We build our own table." That was it. Isabella's mask cracked. She needed to put this self-made woman in her place. With a look of pure malice, she smirked. "Oh dear," she said, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "I'm so terribly clumsy." Then, in what felt like slow motion, she tipped her glass. The rich red wine cascaded down the front of Amira's white suit. It wasn't a spill. It was a deliberate act of contempt. A gasp went through the crowd. Phones, once discreet, were now raised, their flashes popping. And then came the worst part, her high, cruel laughter. "Oh, I didn't see you there. You just blend in so easily." The room froze. Everyone waited for Amira to cry, to scream, to fall apart. But she didn't. Any shock on her face vanished in a second, replaced by an unnerving, icy calm. Her mind was already processing the data. This wasn't just a personal insult. It was a public act by a Sterling family representative. It was a flagrant breach of Article 12, Section 4. Her decision was instantaneous and contractual, not emotional. She looked right at Isabella, then her gaze shifted to find Charles Sterling across the room, his face a mask of horror. In that moment, Amira's composure wasn't weakness, it was the deadliest weapon in the room. As whispers turned to frantic murmurs, Amira acted. She didn't shout, she just reached into her pocket and took out her phone. The room held its breath. The contrast was cinematic, the loud, ugly scene followed by the quiet, deadly response. She made a single phone call. It lasted maybe 5 seconds. Those close enough to hear her were in awe. Her voice was steady and cool. "David, it's Amira," she said to her general counsel. "Execute Article 12, Section 4 of the Sterling Agreement, effective immediately. Yes, the integrity clause. Consider this my official notice. Thank you." She hung up. It was done. A $2.4 billion partnership, gone. With that same unnerving calm, Amira turned to a panic-stricken Charles Sterling who was rushing toward her. She met him halfway, stopping him with a look. "Mr. Sterling," she said, her voice quiet but clear in the silent ballroom. "Our partnership is terminated. My company will not align with values that tolerate this. This act by your sister is a fundamental breach of our agreement. Our deal is off." Charles was speechless. He looked from Amira's stained suit to his sister, Isabella, whose smirk had finally melted into dawning horror. She thought she'd won a social skirmish. She never imagined she had just poured her family's future down the drain. The silence was absolute. Amira Carter turned and walked toward the exit, head held high. The crimson stain on her suit was no longer a mark of shame. It was a symbol of a line being crossed and a price being paid. The crowd parted for her. They had just witnessed what analysts would later call the quietest and most brutal corporate execution in modern history. The aftermath wasn't a slow burn, it was a digital wildfire. Before Amira even got to her car, the video of the incident was on social media. By morning, it was the lead story on every major news network. The financial channels weren't treating it like gossip, they were treating it like a catastrophe, showing the looping video next to Sterling Global's plummeting stock price. The financial fallout was immediate and devastating. When the markets opened, Sterling Global's stock went into a free fall. The integrity clause was now being cited in every analyst's report as a catastrophic risk. Before the opening bell had even finished ringing, the company had lost $480 million in market value. The price of one glass of wine was nearly $500 million and counting. The Sterling name, once a symbol of prestige, was now synonymous with arrogance and spectacular failure. In contrast, Innovate Forward stock actually rose as investors rewarded Amira's strong, principled leadership. She had walked away from a $2.4 billion deal and in doing so, somehow made her company even more valuable. This story is a powerful reminder that in today's world, real power isn't just about money, it's about integrity. If you believe that respect is the ultimate currency, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story where the consequences are just as real as the actions. So what happened to everyone? Isabella Sterling became a social pariah, a walking meme of entitled privilege. She disappeared from the public eye, her name a cautionary tale. Her family's empire, Sterling Global, was permanently tarnished. It survived, but it was diminished, forever stained by the scandal. And Amira Carter, she became a global icon. Time magazine was said to have featured her on its cover with the headline, "The New Rules of Power." Partnership offers flooded in. She eventually signed an even bigger deal with a partner who shared her values, and Innovate Forward continued its meteoric rise. This story, while a modern corporate fable, shatters the old guard belief that wealth and status are a shield against consequences. Amira Carter proved that the new currency isn't just financial capital, it's moral capital. Her calm defiance was a declaration that decency isn't for sale, and respect is a non-negotiable term of engagement. The Sterlings learned a $2.4 billion lesson that resonates from the boardroom to the classroom. In the 21st century, decency often ranks higher than dollars, and respect is the one currency you can't afford to lose.